The big story that we are tracking today, Narendra Modi, the vote magnet of the BJP, has given 2024 message to his party's Karyakartas. He urged all cadre in the Saffron party to go full throttle for the next 400 days that are left before India votes for its next government. Putting Samaj Niti over Rajniti, Prime Minister Modi urged all workers to work hard as Modi alone can't guarantee a win. He said that the BJP is leading Bharat into sarvottam Kaal and that Amrit Kaal must be turned into Vikas Kaal, an age of progress and not just prosperity. After the conclusion of the two-day national executive, the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra detailed the Prime Minister's vision.
प्रधानमंत्री जी का उद्बोधन ये प्रेरक भी था, दिशा दर्शक भी था और भविष्य की राह दिखाने वाला था। सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो कही वो ये थी कि भारत के जीवन का सर्वोत्तम काल आ रहा है, हम सामने देख रहे हैं। ऐसे समय हम लोग मेहनत में पीछे न रहे, प्रयत्नों की पराकाष्ठा करें, अपने जीवन का क्षण क्षण और अपने शरीर का कण कण हम भारत की इस विकास गाथा में लगाए और भारत के इस सर्वोत्तम काल के साक्षी हम लोग बन सकते हैं।
Now, the BJP also slammed the opposition's negative campaign to personally target the Prime Minister over the last 8 years. Through a political resolution, the Saffron Party rained fire on the anti-BJP bloc, saying that crushing legal responses actually blunted the opposition's campaign to constantly try and block many of the development initiatives which were carried out by the Modi Sarkar. Listen in to Nirmala Sitharaman.
So ऑपोजिशन हर बार पर्सनलाइज्ड कैंपेन और बेबुनियाद आरोप चलाते हुए आखिर जब मामला सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक गया, उनके बात साफ सुथरा हुआ।
Citing the Supreme setbacks, the BJP listed rap sheet against the misinformation campaign. The Supreme Court settled the debate that has been raging for the past 6 years, giving thumbs up to Notbandi. The top court maintained that demonetization exercise cannot be struck down on the grounds of proportionality. In 2018, Rahul Gandhi had said that the Rafale jet deal is India's biggest ever scam, but in 2019, the Supreme Court dismissed all the review petitions on that as well, saying that they lacked merit. Rahul Gandhi, remember, had alleged that the Modi government bought Pegasus to snoop on rivals, but the Supreme Court panel dismissed that as inconclusive proof that Pegasus was used in 29 phones. The BJP now says that the opposition's concocted campaign has flopped miserably repeatedly, and we will see a repeat of that in 2024 as well.
देखिए, जनता ने तो पहले रिजेक्ट कर दिया था, खूब उन्होंने शोर हल्ला किया। जनता की अदालत ने तो पहले कर दिया था, अभी माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी किया है। तो ये अपोजिशन को समझ जाना चाहिए कि 21वीं सदी का जो भारत है, ये नकारात्मक जो बातें हैं उसके लिए नहीं है। ये जो है ये पॉजिटिव और जो भारत का रोल पूरी दुनिया में बन रहा है, उसके मद्देनजर जो है सभी को मिलकर काम करना है। भारत के लिए बहुत बड़ी चैलेंजेस भी हैं और अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी हैं। उसके मद्देनजर अपोजिशन अपना काम करे, लेकिन नेगेटिव राजनीति ना करे। इस प्रकार का जो है एक मैसेज दिया है माननीय अदालत के इस जो है।
Trading guns at the BJP's mantra and resolution, the Congress said that BJP's new phrase of governance of saturation is actually governance of indigestion by overindulgence of meaningless slogans and one-liners. So let me take that across to the panel. Joining us now, Tuhin A, spokesperson of the BJP, Kailash Adhikari, MD of Governance Now, Shubhransh Rai, leader of the Congress, Anirban Banerjee will be joining us in just a bit. Politics of saturation, more mantras and slogans, Tuhin Sinha, than actual work.
Good evening, Padmaja. The fault lines between the opposition and the government has never been more clear and never been more stark. While the government wants to take India towards sarvottam Kaal and Vikas Kaal, the opposition with its myopic, visionless agenda and negative politics wants to take India into an andhakar Kaal and Vinash Kaal. And as the political resolution makes it very clear, all progressive agendas in the last few years, in the case of all progressive agendas, the opposition has tried its best to thwart them by knocking the doors of the Supreme Court and failed. Whether it was the Rafale deal, the same HAL, the company, Defense Manufacturing Company, which Rahul Gandhi used to vilify and denigrate day in and day out, is today one of the leading defense exporters in the world. This shows the level of progress we have managed to attain in the last few years. Similarly, they tried to stall the Central Vista project when, as per delimitation rules, it will be mandatory for India to have a much higher number of MPs by the year 2026. So where are we supposed to accommodate the MPs in the limited parliament? The same happened on the economic reservations. The same happened on demonetization. So I think, the opposition has tried its best to take the country back because of its myopic agenda. Now it's with the OPS, a very disastrous scheme, as pointed out by Montek Ahluwalia, the mainstay of their economic policies between 2004 to 2014. But the brazen lust for power of the opposition makes them ignore the interest of the country, and the interest of the country is paramount for the BJP, as is evident in every sphere, whether it is the defense,
Vikas Kaal for BJP and India, Vinash Kaal for opposition. Shubhransh Rai.
पद्मजा जी, मैंने ना आपके पैकेज से एक वर्ड उठाया है, वोट मैग्नेट ऑफ बीजेपी। द रिजल्ट, हिंदुस्तान के लोग सड़कों पे हैं महंगाई के खिलाफ, हिंदुस्तान के लोग सड़कों पे हैं बेरोजगारी के खिलाफ, और इस बात को आज 100% और पुख्ता कर दिया नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार के कैबिनेट मंत्री नारायण राणे ने कि अगले 6 महीने में आर्थिक मंदी आ रही है। ये मैं नहीं कह रहा हूं, ये नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार के कैबिनेट मंत्री नारायण राणे साहब कह रहे हैं। एक बात। दूसरी इंपॉर्टेंट बात, बिल्कुल आपने कुछ नोटबंदी का जिक्र किया। नोटबंदी के परिणाम क्या हुए, यह इंपॉर्टेंट था कि कितनी कंपनियां रातों रात बंद हुई। ऐसे नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने ताली करके कहा था कि रातों रात 2.5 लाख कंपनियां बंद हुई। उस 2.5 लाख कंपनियों के बंद होने का नतीजा यह है कि हिंदुस्तान में आज बेरोजगारी सर चढ़ के बोल रही है। और तीसरी इंपॉर्टेंट बात, बिल्कुल आप सही कह रही मैडम, 8.5 साल से लोग अभी तक स्वर्ण काल, अमृत काल, अच्छे दिनों का इंतजार कर रहे हैं। शायद अच्छे दिन यही हैं, फिर से मेरी पूरी बात सुनिएगा, शायद अच्छे दिन यही है कि दिल्ली में महिला की सरेआम हत्या हो जाती है, बलात्कार हो जाता है, सड़कों पे घसीट घसीट के मार दिया जाता है और प्रधानमंत्री की जुबान तक नहीं हिलती। देश ने देखा था निर्भया के वक्त, शायद अच्छे दिन यही है। और एक और बड़ी बात मैडम, शायद आज ना चर्चा जो होनी चाहिए वो ये होती कि देश की सबसे बड़ी पार्टी में इलेक्टेड हुआ या लोगों की, नरेंद्र मोदी और अमित शाह की कृपा पात्रता से सेलेक्टेड अध्यक्ष का चुनाव हुआ। ना कोई नॉमिनेशन हुआ, ना कोई पर्चा हुआ, बस कृपा पात्रता से उनको अध्यक्ष बना दिया गया। ये न्यूज थी, बट खैर एनीवे, देश
एक्चुअली इलेक्टेड का तो पता नहीं, पर जहां तक बीजेपी ने बोला है कि रेजोल्यूशन मूव किया गया, राजनाथ सिंह ने मूव किया और सबने वॉइस वोट करके यूनानिमसली उनको इलेक्ट किया।
मैडम ये आप भी जानती हैं और मैं भी जानता हूं कि कृपा पात्रता से सिलेक्शन इसी तरह
नहीं से सर, मैं तो नहीं जानती, सर्वज्ञाता तो आप है, मैं तो नहीं जानती, बट चलते चलते इससे पहले की
जानती हैं?
नहीं, मैं नहीं जानती, मैं सच में नहीं जानती। ये सब इंसाइडर खबरें आपको रहती हैं, बट वो तो ठीक है। इंसिडेंटली आज राहुल जी से पूछा गया, राहुल जी से पूछा गया कि हिमाचल में 3 रुपए वैट क्यों बढ़ाया। उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे मुख्यमंत्री स्वतंत्र हैं, इसलिए हम उनके ऊपर कुछ दबाव नहीं डालते। मतलब आप करें तो स्वतंत्र, कहीं और हो तो फिर खतरे में लोकतंत्र, ऐसे कैसे चलेगा?
सुनिए, एक मिनट सुनिए। डबल इंजन सुनिए, डबल इंजन की सरकार ने टूरिज्म के नाम पे जिस तरह से उत्तराखंड के जोशीमठ को बर्बाद करने पे तुली हुई है,
हिमाचल की तो बात कीजिए,
लगभग खत्म होने
वहां पे भी तो आपका डबल इंजन चल रहा है, मुख्यमंत्री उप मुख्यमंत्री का।
रुके
3 रुपए वैट क्यों बढ़ाया?
ना, अरे रुक तो जाइए प्लीज। अब अरे मैडम, तुहीन काउंटर कर लेंगे, आप तो सुन लीजिए। जो टनल, जो डबल इंजन की योजना जिसके नाम पे जोशी मठ लगभग बर्बाद होने की कगार पे है, इसरो की रिपोर्ट को दबा दिया गया।
सर मैं हिमाचल की बात कर रही हूँ, आप उत्तराखंड ले गए, हिमाचल की तो बताइए। आपने 5 मिनट बोला कि महंगाई बढ़ रही है, लोग त्रस्त हैं, त्राहिमाम मचा हुआ है, पर ये तो बताइए कि हिमाचल में 3 रुपया क्यों बढ़ा दिया?
आपको नहीं लगता कि जोशी मठ में लोगों की जिंदगी और वहां के लोगों का घर ज्यादा बड़ा मुद्दा है?
क्यों?
क्या आपको नहीं लगता कि
हिमाचल के लोगों ने आपको वोट दे दिया तो उनका मुद्दा नहीं है? जोशी मठ में बेशक मुद्दा है, जोशी मठ में बेशक मुद्दा है,
देखिए
बेशक मुद्दा है।
आपका डर लाजमी है
सर। मैं क्यों डरूंगी? अरे देखिए, सत्ता आपको मिलेगी या बीजेपी को मिलेगी, मेरे को तो कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला एंड में।
आपसे प्रार्थना,
मैं क्यों डरूंगी सर?
जोड़ के प्रार्थना है,
जिंदगी तो ऐसे ही चलती रहेगी। चलिए कोई बात नहीं,
बात करिए।
कैलाश अधिकारी, द मोर इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग इज कमिंग बैक टू द मेन पॉइंट. When the Prime Minister says that over the last 8 years, or the BJP passes a resolution saying, listen, last 8 years, you've got a slew of issues that were raised, but they have been struck down, one, by the people through their vote, two, by the courts. Is this something that really is going to sweep them to power in 2024?
You know, Padmaja, the kind of work that is done by the Bharatiya Janata Party over the 8 years and the government will bring back them to power in 2024. It is, and we have seen election after election. It is not just 2014 and 2019 where the numbers increased, even state after state. Look at the thumping majority in Gujarat. Last time it was a tally of 91 or 99 seats, if I'm not mistaken, and right now it's 156, more than 2/3 majority. And you know what? What's the problem of the opposition after 2014? When they couldn't find any tangible points to counter the government or Honorable Prime Minister, they resorted, and this is more so for over the principal opposition party, they resorted for very such remarks, and that too by the president of the newly anointed president by the Congress party. They resorted to remarks which are not only unparliamentary but which do not go well with the public of this country, or with the citizens of this country, or with the voters of this country. You know, comparing the Honorable Prime Minister to Ravana, or calling him Juto the Sardar, the way Mani Shankar Iyer used to address the Honorable Prime Minister. I mean, this is very unparliamentary, and the people and the voters of this country know. And on all those issues, such as demonetization, it was a 4/1 verdict by the Supreme Court. In the EWS, the Economic Vehicular section, the Supreme Court upheld it. Or even in the Rafale matter, or even in money laundering, or even in the other matters. Time after time, what the BJP pressed in its national executive meeting through a resolution was that on whatever issues that the opposition tried to raise, it did not go, all were struck down. It did not pass the test of the law of the land.
Did not pass the test, Anirban Banerjee, either of the voter or the court. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, first of all, regarding the court verdicts, I must remind our fellow panelists that the court will rarely, if ever, intervene in policy matters of the government. Until and unless those policies go against the basic structure of our constitution, the courts rarely interfere. Therefore, when they are giving verdicts, it's on the legality portion. It's on the legality, procedural legality portion of the entire matter, and not the policy.
Exactly.
Therefore, when the opposition
Which is why the court even ruled on the legality of the Pegasus deal, of the Rafale deal, of Pegasus not being there to snoop on anyone. The legality of that is what the court ruled on.
No, whether Pegasus has been used by the government or not, that is for the government to answer in the parliament. They have not given a single answer in yes or no that we do not own Pegasus. They could have said this. They have never said that. Therefore, wherever there are some legal questions, the court will never ponder on the policy part. Therefore, we cannot ever say that the BJP, when they are rolling out one policy after the other, they cannot be questioned by the opposition. The opposition will obviously question the policy part.
So the court is only talking about the legality, not about the veracity of those claims. What about the people? Because the same bunch of claims hasn't even passed muster on the test of democracy, the voters' decision.
Well, if you consider the Lok Sabha elections, let's say 2019, the BJP received 37% of votes. That was more than any other party. That is true. That is very true. But if you consider whether the people are voting for or against those policies in a in a binary manner, 63% voted against them. Yes, those 63% were divided into many parts due to many parties, but 63% are against BJP's policy. If the opposition manages to bring those 63% on the table together, their numbers in terms of seats will go up. They will form the government. And I personally believe,
you are living in a fool's paradise.
No,
I admire the persistence of this opposition in the wake of repeated censure, in the wake of repeated failures. But, you know, hats off to them. The fact is, if the Supreme Court explicitly rules that there was no anomaly found in the process pursued in the procurement of Rafale deals, that should suffice. That should, you know, drill some sense into the opposition. But instead, let me also remind you that not only that, Rahul Gandhi went a step forward and spread falsehood, attributing it to Supreme Court, because of which he had to apologize to the Supreme Court. So this is what the opposition is. They have spread carnage on the issue of China. When our soldiers have driven away the Chinese soldiers, Rahul Gandhi makes a ludicrous statement saying that, you know, our soldiers have been beaten. They spread the same falsehood on the issue of vaccination. So this shows the desperation and the despondency of the opposition. The negative politics of the opposition has been conclusively defeated by the people of this country time and again. They can give all sorts of data. 37% of the people voted for you, but that's precisely the numbers of all winning parties over the last 4 decades.
Okay, everyone wants to react to this, but this is going to be, and like the Prime Minister said today, 400 days left. This debate is only going to get sharper over the next 400 days, as will the politics from both sides. We'll be keeping a close watch. For the time being, gentlemen, thanks very much for joining me. Quick break. I'll see you next.